Andy. We'll see you then. Thanks so much. Well, many prominent figures in the financial industry have raised concerns about a possible lack of liquidity in the bond market, from Larry Fink to Hank Paulson and others. Well, today, the former head of the Federal Reserve, Paul Volcker, shared his own thoughts with our very own Michelle Caruso Cabrera exclusively, and you're here to tell us the new Volcker rule, by the way, after what we're going to see, maybe never stop for a reporter again.
Right, that could be. That's right. So many bond market participants point to the so-called Volcker rule as a reason why they say it's become more difficult to trade bonds. The Volcker rule prohibits banks trading for their own accounts. As a result, some are keeping far lower inventories of bonds, making markets in far fewer issues. At an event in New York City this morning, Paul Volcker told me there is not a problem with liquidity in the bond market, and even if there is, it isn't his fault.
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
The Volcker rule doesn't apply, first of all, to government securities, which are the backbone of the liquidity in the market. Liquidity is important, but there's such a thing as too much liquidity. People that want to buy oddball securities and think they can sell them the next day at the same price or a very close price, that shouldn't be the real world. They ought to, if they're taking a risk, they ought to be prepared for the risk, and the market risk is part of that. So you've got to get a balance in liquidity. It's not just more liquidity is always better.
Are you concerned about lack of liquidity in the bond market?
No, I'm not concerned one bit.
Why not?
Because of the reason I told you. There can be too much liquidity. The basic liquidity in the market is government securities, and that should be a broad.
Well, I'm asking if it's swung
the
other way.
Look, I told you. Why do we keep repeating it? I am not worried about the lack of liquidity in markets, period.